never believed in this stuff before. Ghosts, demons, whatever. It was all just stories to me. But after what happened in that house, my perspective changed. This was back in the winter of 2011. I had just moved into a small place on Carolina Street in Gary, Indiana, with my 3 kids. It wasn't much, but it was quiet, and I thought we could finally have a normal life. The first weird thing started maybe a week after moving in. At night, I'd hear footsteps. Slow, heavy footsteps, like a grown man walking back and forth. But they were coming from above us. The thing is, this house didn't even have an upstairs. Then I started seeing shadows. I'd catch them out of the corner of my eye, sliding across the walls or standing in the doorway. At first, I thought I was just tired, but I saw them more than once. And I wasn't the only one. My youngest son, he was only 7 at the time, started crying at night. He told me there was a tall man with red eyes in his room. My daughter, she was older, told me she kept hearing someone whisper her name from inside her closet. But the thing that really scared me was the flies. One morning, I went out to the screened porch and froze. The screens, the windows, they were covered in black flies, hundreds of them. This was the middle of winter, mind you. I killed which I could. The next day they came back, and the day after that too. It didn't feel like a bug problem. It felt wrong, like it meant something. And deep down, I had this awful feeling. Whatever it was already inside the house with us. It didn't stay at shadows and footsteps for long. A few weeks later, things started moving on their own. I'd put the TV remote on the couch, walk into the kitchen, and when I came back, it'd be on the floor across the room. Doors would slam when nobody was near them. Sometimes I'd hear cabinets opening and closing in the middle of the night. The worst was the voices. At first, it was little things, hearing my name whispered when I was alone. Then I noticed it was happening to the kids, too. One night, my daughter came running out of her room in tears. She said someone was in there with her, whispering in her ear. I searched the room top to bottom. Nothing. But the scariest moment, I'll never forget it. It was late, maybe around 10 p.m. I was tucking my boys into bed. My middle child, who was 9 at the time, was sitting up against the headboard, just staring at me. His face was different, blank, no expression at all. Then, in this deep, guttural voice I had never heard come out of him before, he said, "It's time to die." Before I could even react, something invisible slammed into him. He flew backward into the headboard so hard I thought he'd broken something. He just laid there for a second, gasping. I grabbed him and pulled him out of bed, my heart racing. But he looked at me like he had no idea what just happened. He said he didn't remember saying anything. That was the moment I knew this wasn't just some creepy house thing. Whatever was in there, it could hurt us. After that night, I knew I couldn't just ignore it anymore. I started looking for help. I called the church, talked to a couple of pastors, and even reached out to a clairvoyant someone recommended. The clairvoyant didn't even need to step inside before she told me the place was bad. She said there were over 200 spirits in the house, and that they were all angry. She told me to leave. Just like that. No hesitation. But it wasn't that simple. We didn't have anywhere to go. Things kept happening. More voices, more shadows, More nights where the kids wouldn't sleep because they felt something touching them. Then child services got involved. Someone had reported what was going on in our house because of the way it was affecting the kids. A caseworker and a nurse came over one afternoon. They were standing in the living room talking to me when my middle son walked in. He suddenly got this weird grin, turned around, and started walking backwards. I mean, completely backwards. Right up the wall. He walked backwards up the wall to the ceiling and flipped over, landing on his feet. The nurse screamed. The caseworker grabbed the kids and ran out of the room. I just stood there in shock. Later, a police officer came by to check the place out. Even he admitted it felt wrong inside. His report said there was this thick, oily liquid dripping from the blinds in the living room, but no one could figure out where it came from. His canine wouldn't even go through the front door, it just growled and backed away. That's when I realized this wasn't just my problem anymore. Other people were seeing it too. After the caseworker and the police saw what was happening, I finally got in touch with a priest who agreed to come to the house. He walked in, stayed quiet for a few minutes, then told me flat out, this place wasn't just haunted. He said it was infested. He sprinkled holy water in every room and said prayers, but honestly, it didn't stop anything. The noises kept coming. The kids still woke up screaming. Sometimes I'd be in the kitchen and hear all the doors in the house slam at once. Eventually, the priest said we needed something stronger, an exorcism, not just for the house, but for us too. I went through 3 separate rites. Each one left me drained, like something was fighting back every step of the way. My kids had their own blessings, but my middle son needed more. Every time the priest prayed over him, he would thrash and yell in a voice that wasn't his. After weeks of this, I'd had enough. One night, I packed a few bags, grabbed the kids, and we walked out. We left everything else behind: clothes, furniture, toys. I didn't care. I just wanted out. We never went back. The house sat empty for a while before they finally tore it down. Some people called it the demon house,